All right, so hello and welcome to this technology workshop. I don't know. We have a lot of material, so I feel like I'll go over or I'll have more stuff that I can show you, which may not actually be true. But on the flyer, the URL that I put on the flyer that you saw in the teacher's lounge, tinyurl.com ASA Tech Workshop, will take you to this website, which has everything that we're going to use today. So everything that I'll talk about is available on the website. I also wanted you to take out your smartphones now. I assume you all have them, and go to this website right now. One, so you can follow along. Two, so you can answer the questions in my technology survey, which is the first thing. So you can kind of feel like my students probably often do. But if you click anywhere, when you get to the technology website here, if you click anywhere on this word, it will take you immediately to the questionnaire. You should all make friends with tinyurl.com. Actually, does anyone use it now? Good. See, you use it. CUNY uses it a lot, exactly. Professor Tim Farnsworth, who's the chief of assessment at CUNY, he introduced me to tinyurl.com. It's a really easy way to share anything.
Yeah.
And you can determine what it says on this side. So most of my classes are tinyurl.com, ASA, CN, and then the class number or something. So my students will remember the websites that I give them. This is often how I begin my first class of every semester by giving them a web address on here, because I've already prepared a website for every class. You'll see. I was going to use this platform to complain about the Wi-Fi at ASA. I'm sure you're all aware that it drops you after 20 minutes, right? And it should be just as good as the Wi-Fi at Starbucks or any of those places where you're just on it for long periods of time and it just keeps you. I don't know who to complain to, but please.
I will give you the.
But please, I think if we all kind of complain about it, it's one resource that the students should have all the time. Although I will also tell you this, the students use their own data plans all the time. I mean, clearly, you see them using their own data plans in class because they're always you see students always using their phones in certain ways. That's usually on their own data plan. So don't be shy to ask them to do things for class with their data plan. They should be willing to do it even if they can't get on the Wi-Fi. But we should be providing them with high-quality Wi-Fi. All right, so I want to know, the kinds of things that you do in class. It's a very short survey, but this also is a really good activity that you can do with your students. This is more than an activity. I've been using Google Forms a lot. This is kind of an amazing tool for assessment. For those of you who might have taught integrated C, I converted the exam into a Google form which grades itself, right? So you don't have to grade the exam. I was actually, because the paper was in such short supply before the midterms, I was about to do that with the reading exam, but then there was enough paper. But I actually did convert the reading exam into a self-grading exam, and it worked really well for reviewing the test with the students on the board. I had all the answers to all the questions. I can actually demonstrate that too. But what I want you guys to be doing right now is just answering these questions as you filter in, and probably as you kind of pay a little bit of attention to the workshop as it starts. So, those of you with smartphones, you're answering this. We're going to look at these results in a little while as we move on. So these are the courses that I've taught here, our courses at ASA, and used a website for each course. We can go through, I've taught integrated skills, oral communication, reading skills, and writing skills classes. And for each of them, I'll show the kind of ways that you can use the website in those classes. And if you like, as you follow along, you can certainly visit the website that I have used in the past. I tried not to connect it to the live websites that I'm using now. I connected it to the websites I used the previous semester so you can see. So, in the integrated skills department, this is kind of the very top of the website I use right now for integrated skills A. It includes a poll, which is just like what you're doing now. Class calendar, the main page, a place for all the homework, something about me, so the students, I don't have to introduce myself so much, the students can kind of research me on their own, photographs of the class, and links. So this is kind of an ideal way to keep notes, calendars, things like that. For oral communication, right? This is a great way to link to extra supplements, to present images for discussion, to include videos and slideshows, and incorporate readings directly into websites that you use in class at the beginning of class every day, right? It also includes in-page assessments, at least the way I've done it. So here, this was a homework assignment for my Oral Com A class. It's kind of a quiz that they do. It's embedded in the website. So they go to the same website all the time when they get to class to check their homework. I'm changing the website before every class, after every class, whenever I need to, so that I can give them handouts, recordings, anything that we do. Oftentimes, I'm sure a lot of you use technology in your class, and I don't doubt that you use YouTube and things like that. The thing that you need is some place to keep it all together, so it's presented to the students as one thing that they can check time and time again. And that is where Google Sites have been really, really helpful to me. In the reading course, it's good to use these kinds of things because I create like a journal page where the students can add every week something that they've read about the book that we don't actually teach when we're in the class, right? In the reading course, at least at level C, the students are expected to read outside of class, and there's really no way to check that. And the website kind of is a really great way to just have a place where they can put information about their book every week. And you don't necessarily you can use that to like supplement the class time. And then so here the writing site I'm actually really happy about, and I'll go directly to that site. You can include readings and embed things like directly into the site, publish student work online. This kind of can move us toward portfolio assessment, right? So we can have students make their own web pages or link their work to our web page, and then if we're thinking about certain directions about how to use sites like this. Maybe we don't use exams as much as we do right now. Maybe we make projects that the students work on throughout the semester, and rather than having an exam that we have to grade and have to copy and all of that, we have a video that the students made that shows their proficiency in English, right? It's certainly a better way to assess the students, and it's very easy to do with websites like this. So here is the writing site that I use. It's immediately you must buy books for your class pops up on all of my sites, because Google Sites allows you to kind of interrupt the experience of the user and say, hey, you have to do this. This was very useful at the beginning of the semester when we had to enforce books for everyone. They assigned onto my website, and immediately it was like, buy the book. And better than that, this automatically goes on there. When they click on more details, it takes them directly to a page where I linked to the textbook publisher and a way for them to buy it immediately. Right, so again, I really didn't spend a lot of time with students being like, go to Amazon, do this, do that. Here it is, here's the link on the website, and like students could buy the book even while they were sitting in the classroom, right? So usually when they come here, they come to the home page, which in this level, at level A, I include my assessment on the home page. So the minute they get there, if they want to do the homework or the quiz for the unit, they can do that right away. Of course, it includes a class calendar. I want to talk a lot more about using Google Sites specifically because of the integration across all of Google's apps, right? Google is free for all of us. I asked you in the survey, and we're going to take a look at that survey in just a second. I asked you who has a Gmail, who doesn't have Gmail, who has Yahoo. Once you have Gmail, you have everything, right? You have Docs, you have Sheets, you have Calendar, you have Analytics, you have Data Studio, you have YouTube. Everything is connected under one account. So you can put all of that information into a Google site, and I make a Google Calendar for my classes every class, every semester. This way, like, I take what's on the syllabus, and it's not as difficult a process as it might sound, right? You have a digital copy of the syllabus already. The department gives you that. You copy and paste into a Google Calendar, and then it's something that it turns up. You can make this slightly bigger. It turns up in calendar form. In some classes, I have it in this kind of agenda style. So you just have, like, what are we doing every day, plus the holidays in between. And when a student clicks on what we're doing in a given day, like class 10, unit 7 and 8, they get everything from the syllabus that you add. Of course, you can change this whenever you want. You put in your own information. But again, at the beginning of the semester, it's easy. It's copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste. So now I will get a notification on my watch about an hour before any given class, where the class is, what we're going to do, things like that. So, and your students can have this as well. It's totally free. It's very easy, right? They can have it pop up on their phone. hey, class is today. These assignments are today. All those things come up automatically for them. They just have to have Gmail and join into the Google Calendar. Notes and announcements page. I really like this because you can embed, this is one of my own websites that I embedded into this website, which actually doesn't look perfect, but here's Newsy LA. A lot of us have used Newsy LA. If you don't, you should use Newsy LA. It's an amazing website that allows you to grade the readings. Well, the old version of Google Sites allows you to embed websites into your website. So the students don't have to click on anything else, right? That's one thing for this kind of like regular class is okay. But a lot of us teach integrated skills where we go into the computer lab and we are in the computer lab. You can have them just go to one website and then it's easier to check, you know? Don't go to any other website, just go to this one and you have all the websites that you want embedded into your site. This way, at least when you're walking around the room, you can know who's shopping and who's not shopping. You know, you're like, you're not on my website, just be on my website. Thank you, one website, that's it. Not that I'm really in favor of that much discipline. I often tell the students in integrated, you know, do the task at hand, but if you finish, whatever you're doing, just make sure it's in English. So, you know, I don't care. As long as they're using the internet in English, I feel like they're probably learning what they're supposed to be learning in that hour anyway. But including it directly in the website is a really useful tool, of course, because I mean, you do an article in class, everyone can look at it after class. They can look at it for homework. It's part of the website. I almost always, inside of the notes and announcements page, create a part of the page that kind of looks like this, where it tells the students exactly how to get to their particular class website. So much like ASA Tech, I would have done that like ASA Tech workshop for all of you, right? A little image of a very outdated browser, but telling them to put it in the address bar and not in the Google bar. That's kind of important. And we kind of work on that. The first class with all the students is usually like, how do we use how do we connect to this technology? How do we get to the website every week? And then oftentimes by the end of the class, I take them down to IT so that every single one gets their Wi-Fi passwords and all those things in order, at least on the first day, so that they can continue to access this stuff while they're here. So here are just quickly, another great thing that you can put inside of notes and announcements are your class policies, right? I want them all to call me Christopher and not teacher. You can't have more than 3 absences. But like all of this kind of information, one is provided to us, but we can adapt it the way we want to. And you keep this on the website, and then, you know, if someone's late, if something happens, you can always refer them there and say, look, we talked about this, I put it on the website, or if you have a question about it, it's on the website. The website is a great way to like completely reduce the paperwork. You don't need to give everyone a copy of this, but have a place where you can show it to everyone and then also refer to it when it becomes a problem. So those things are all there. It links to the student handbook, and it links to the syllabus, and then my address. That's inside of the notes and announcements section of the page. Homework is another great area that students probably use the most, right? That's kind of my angry. Do all of the compositions. But you post, you know, every week during the course of the class, because usually I come up with homework assignments on the fly. I don't always have them thought out. It's like, oh, we didn't get to this part, we didn't do this, right? And the students are like, what's the homework, what's the homework? Oftentimes it's like, all right, you know, you want to make sure you finish these exercises and these things that we didn't get to in addition to the homework that was planned on the syllabus. So you can post all of that in an ongoing post, at least again on Google Sites. So every class, the homework is very clear, and again, I don't have to write it on the board, I don't have to like hand something out, and when the students are wondering what's the homework, it's just like, look, go to the website. If you're absent, go to the website. I haven't had this work very well, but you know, you don't have the students actually do it, but you know, the idea that they're going to be absent, I always say, all right, check the website, make sure you keep up with everything that we did, because there's always that kind of ongoing list of things to do there. Meet your teacher. I have a picture of me and like the kinds of things that I've done. Links to the website for my hometown, Hunter College where I studied, University of Chicago, and NYU. Just because like students are sometimes interested in this, and like, you know, I see that they do look through my bio, you know, from time to time, and it's a good way to make an introduction, especially at the beginning of the semester. Here, overview just happens to be everything that gets posted to the site kind of together. So that Google gives you options to make the site more accessible for your students, including tables of content, overviews, things like that. Just more ways to link all the things that you posted. 9 of you responded. Pretty good. That's totally satisfying. this is your rating on the scale of how much technology you use in class. Tons of technology in class. So a couple of you use tons of technology. Some of you seem to be in the middle. No one wants to say that they don't use any. That's good. I feel like it's a really good sign. One of the things that I like the most about kind of all this web-based stuff that I think about often is that this technology is more than 20 years old. Right? You could have been doing this since the late 90s. You could create a class for your website and have students contribute to it. It's not like, but it's amazing how slowly it has come to be adopted, right? Especially when it presents the number of conveniences that it does. People seem to use email a lot. It's actually something I never use. PowerPoint seems to be somewhat popular. I actually do have a PowerPoint somewhere in here. Email, word processing, Microsoft Office Suite. I think that's included in our computers, right? So we have that already. This is unfortunate. Not so many people use Google Apps, and I hope more of you will consider that by the time we're done with this. Google Sites, some people use it. Who uses Google Sites? What do you do?
Like the different sites that, what do you mean, like when you research different ESL?
No.
ESL sites.
No.
That's what I was talking about.
Google Sites are like what I've done here, where you make your own webpage through
Google Docs.
Through Google. Google Docs are like Google Apps and things like that. But Google Sites are making your own website using Google as the main way. Okay. No one uses Wix. Wix was how I made this gorgeous yet fallible technology site, which has all these kinds of animations. Here it includes a lovely portfolio of things that I've done in various classes. Here's what you would use class photos for, of course. Like we went to ask people directions, and then we all took pictures outside after we did that kind of class trip. Or inside of this class, actually, they have wound up posting like photos of each other doing things outside in the world related to our topics, which is really getting advanced with that. But sometimes, especially if you have a younger group, they're eager to use photo sharing and kind of social networking kind of things. Who's used Facebook?
Oh, none of us.
Oh, I mean in class. This is a horribly designed survey.
Was in class.
I'm sorry. I really meant it. I know. I kind of meant for this all to be in class, and I wasn't very clear about that. All right, it's fine. No one's used Facebook in class. I haven't either. I have friends who've used Facebook in class. I think it's really good for like literature programs.
It's blocked on our computer.
Oh, it's blocked on our. It's right. I don't like to use Facebook myself. Most of the Google sites actually aren't because they're really productivity. So that's kind of a way around this. It's a good way to talk about this now. And none of photo sharing through Google with your class. Anyone? No. So this is like you've used it in your life, but text messaging with your students. No. And then things like WhatsApp. I noticed all of my classes have a WhatsApp chain.
Yeah.
Right? You come to notice this, like all the students have gotten together to communicate behind your back about you, probably. I feel that they're taking videos of me, and then or they put the homework together and things like that. Yeah. So we know that they're using these kinds of apps, and I think kind of all of these things really have a place in the classroom and can be combined through Google Sites and websites that you use. Really, ESL Lab, I've never used that. Okay, I'm just going to keep this kind of data for myself. Here, whether we use the electronic version of the book that comes with our class, a lot of us do, some of us don't. It's complicated. I like this question, the answers to the best, right? Yeah, I have a complicated relationship with whether I use the ESL textbook, like the DVD that comes with Top Notch. It's really difficult. It's really difficult to use. I know it's good in that it has a lot of information, but it crashes constantly. It's almost impossible to get it to work smoothly. But it depends. But in North Star, the North Star series comes with all that internet-based stuff that's very easy to use with the class. And I've also incorporated that. So that's kind of a mix. Technology makes you scared or something. What is that? What was that question? Intrigues me or terrifies me, and the results. Well, no one's terrified. Again, good. Intrigues over here. I hope also through this live Google form, you're getting a sense of how you can use this kind of thing in class. Right? You can ask students any number of questions, whether they're actual assessments or just opinion questions, and using sliding scales or checkboxes or multiple choice, you can get like pie charts and all this kind of data to then display immediately back to the students. How many of you understood what we were just talking about in relation to the present perfect or something like that? That kind of thing is really useful. So then these ways of using it in class, like what are kind of some of the best ways that we could use it? For grammar, I feel that it's good to make reusable lessons and notes. Right? I have here a lesson on subject-verb agreement that I just did myself, a lesson on what is whom, and like these are the kinds of materials that either you can find easily on the internet or make up yourself. Like here's how I feel about this particular grammatical thing, and then at the end of each one of these lessons, I link to further practice from the internet. I don't even know if this is like the best practice, but it is some sort of practice. If students want this kind of thing, they have the ability to look at kind of grammar notes and then practice it immediately.
Chris, how do you know that they are using those things?
Right. Okay. So I'll jump ahead here, but I'm going to jump ahead to the question in a minute, Mila. For subbing, I subbed for someone's class one day, and using the handout that they gave me,
It was mine.
it was yours, right? Yeah. It was how important are family ties. I mean, I feel like you should. I hope you use this website again. I don't know if I left the URL with you, but this enabled us to talk about the handout with all the students at once, right? I mean, displaying it on the projector is very easy, but you could just take pictures of it. And for subbing, you could easily hand whoever you're substituting, like, oh, here's a little lesson that I use, rather than handouts. Here's a little website lesson that I use, and like it could have everything that you need for that contained lesson inside of it. Who is she? What is her role in the family? These are the questions that happened inside of the handout. And it was I did this like during the class period. I was like, this handout isn't working. No one's really looking at it. We need to look at it together. And within like 15 minutes, I just put it all together, which you could easily do, before you start substituting a class or if you're going to hand it off to someone else. I want to go back to video, and I've talked a lot about how we can use this for assessment, but Milo is asking, how do you know that the students are looking at various things? And I kind of wanted to walk everyone through getting a Google account and talking about Google accounts because of this, analytics, because of Google Analytics. This video here on the site, this is why I asked you to log in yourself, and this will walk you through getting a Google account if you don't have one already. It's totally free. It takes like 5 minutes. I often do it with students. Like, oh, you don't have a Google account? Okay, let's just get you a Google account so you can access everything. So if you want to come back to this, that's how you do it. How do we know what students are doing? Here we have Google Analytics, which includes data analysis and visualization, and it is all completely free. When you make a Google site, there's a portion of that Google site that allows you to register with Google Analytics. Google Analytics will then take all of your websites and chart where everyone is and what they're doing. So I will just take a random site, integrated B, right? And it will give you, clearly this must be, the day before class or the day of class. It tells you exactly when students are on the site. It tells you what type of phone they're using, what page they use. You can get so much data from this. It's really kind of, this part is almost like slightly overwhelming. But using these platforms, and this is Google Data Studio, which, let me just give you a report from a different class. It allows you to automatically generate reports about data that are live. The reports are always live. This is a class actually I taught at Hunter, but I know that there were 2,590 page views to date. If someone clicks on that right now, in a couple minutes, that data will arrive here. I noticed that the students use it almost every day of the week. These colored lines tell you what hour of the day they're using it. And here, Friday and Saturday, that class happened to be taught on a Saturday, and we went to the computer lab, so we'd always get a huge bump of traffic on the Saturday when they were all forced to do it. Here is the amount of time that I would spend administering the website. This is the amount of time that students would spend using the website. So, again, it's a really good ratio of I spend some time putting it together, but students spend a lot of time actually getting information from the site. This tells you what was the last page that the students were on when they left the website. So when they stopped, which is also a very interesting page. At what point did they feel they were satisfied, or at what was the purpose of their visit? That can often be the last page that they left on. Useful links, class pictures is really out the window. and then the other kind of links to websites. The other little wheel here, sorry, this is like just tons of data. It's all, again, automatically generated. This is brand of telephone that the students use, right? Is it a Galaxy? Is it a Samsung? Is it a Galaxy 6 Edge Plus? Is it a Moto G? Really, you could really get down, if you're really interested in this kind of stuff related to your class, you can know, oh yeah, that student has a Galaxy 6. He's on the website all the time, that one's not. You can kind of almost figure out down to the exact student who's doing what. And this is just with free Google Analytics, right? This is what Google gives you all the time. All of you clicked on my survey. I get information about that too. So that's the world of analytics, and it is incredibly useful. Here, under video, again, like I said, when you have Google, you have everything. You have YouTube, you have calendars. This is something I actually did with Hunter, where every class, we took some of the class that we had recorded, which is, again, why I really like to record myself. It's something you can do all the time. You record yourself, you say something good. Sure, you say a lot of bad crap. You edit that out, right? Every time you curse, whatever, you can edit that out. It's very easy. But you had a great 5 minutes on present perfect. It is very easy to kind of create videos like this, which I'm not going to make you watch the whole thing, but And it's putting out really well is that this is a compound. Oh wait. And there are only two, so that's easy, right? Have or has, depending on the very easy she, it always has, and I, you, we, they have, singular, plural situation, right? We'll get to that anyway. So I don't want to talk over myself. So it's very easy to, once you record yourself, it's also very easy to record your screen, right, on your computer. And when you combine a screen recording on your computer with what you've done in class, you can have some very clear, very easy to access videos that you can always connect to your sites, right? So in this case, I know that I talk very fast, right? I mean, you can hear it now, and you're thinking, if he talks like this with his students, how do they ever understand him? Part of that is I like to just take what I was saying in class and kind of recapitulate all of it, just like edit through it and kind of use it as a reusable video that I can be like, oh yeah, we talked about this already, the video's on the website. These then can also be connected to assessments. So if students get something wrong on an assessment, you can then put a link to the particular video that you did. Like, hey, these were the things that we actually talked about in class. Like, here it is. These, the number of possibilities for this kind of integration are really wonderful. So that's why I think Google is, again, among the best. I want to talk about Google Sites very quickly after I talk about Googleverse and this bizarre revelation I had the other day. This is the Google Hangouts revelation. If you click on this phone button here, you can call yourself on a video call. Why would you do that? I blew my mind the other day in class. By calling myself on a video call, I was able to project exactly what was going on in the class, like totally live, right? So you have your own phone can be a camera for like what's going on in class at that moment, right? We were playing a game with these talking die. I should have like these die that like. Where like they have a picture on each side. So they have a picture on each side. I want to see. You video call yourself. It will come up directly on the here, and you have like a camera to like whatever you want to do. So again, playing this dice game was much easier to explain when I could like roll the dice and everyone could see what I was doing like all at once. Then you can go to each like, oh, how are you doing? Or if you have something in the hallway that you want to do, or like it's very easy to once it coordinates, to kind of video call with yourself through Google Hangouts. So, I spent a lot of time talking about Google and the use of Google for education. I do have there's a promotional video here of Google for Education. I have a website as well that I developed for Shanti, where I talked about how ASA could use Google for Education. We don't use Blackboard for our classes, which I think is probably good because Blackboard is clunky, complicated, ugly. You can't do these things. I have no idea whether the school can afford to meet up with Google and figure out how to do integrated Google for Education applications. But if they did, we would have a situation where all of us would have Google email accounts automatically through the school. All the students would automatically have Google email accounts, and they would have access to all of these applications in a totally integrated setting in a way that's even better than the free version that we have now. But with or without the school's help, you can use the free aspects of Google, to do all of the things that I just showed you. So, like I said, I don't know. I really feel like I've gone through more than enough on this. The only two things that I kind of want to go over by the end are my contact information. You can use this the Tech Workshop worksite, blah blah blah. The Tech Workshop website. Yeah. You can use the Tech Workshop website to get in touch with me and have more ideas about this. You can use this, or you can just email me directly. I don't really care. And there's also an exit survey here about technology, which I would also like you to take. And I think at this point, I'll just take your questions.
My very good question. Let's
Please.
say somebody is really interested, because we have different people, right? Somebody is old-fashioned, somebody is
Yes,
very
yes.
tech-oriented people. If somebody wants to do that from scratch, can they approach you so that you take the people?
Absolutely, yeah. I have no problem talking to anyone. Actually, I did want to go over old and new Google. And again, I wanted this website to be a way for everyone, not just for me to present these ideas, but the way for all of you, now that this is useless to me because I'm not going to present this again, this website is still useful to everyone to use it for examples. Please feel free to steal anything that you saw here, or if you use my videos, I just feel great because that still counts as traffic to my part of the web. But this website at this URL, which you have access to, is for you to all do that. At the very bottom here of the home site, Google Sites and Wix are linked. So you can go to Google Sites, through this website if you feel uncomfortable typing sites.google.com into your phone. It's not so hard. But this links already to Google Sites and to Wix. Both of these have really easy website editing tools that are available for everyone. Like, I don't know how to use HTML code that much. Like, I don't have to use it for any of this, right? You click on things, you make a shape. It's the same as making a PowerPoint presentation, but it essentially is a PowerPoint presentation that is live to the rest of the world, right? That you can publish and you can save, and you don't have to keep on like a drive or anywhere. You just know because you have the address. Like today, what did I do to prepare for this morning? I woke up at 11 o'clock, I came in, I knew that the website was already up. Very easy. What do I do to prepare for my classes? Same deal, right? Actually, I have to put some things on the website for the class that I teach in about 20 minutes. But even if you don't get that stuff up, you can do it in front of the students. And it's really kind of good because using technology in front of the students is an opportunity to teach the students about technology, right? If you have some students that don't know how to use it, you're like, look, here's how we do it, right? And it's a good way to increase the amount of English that they're learning. So yes, but to answer your question, I'm really happy to help anybody kind of do this. This links to the old Google Sites, which will just go to my account. This is the old Google Sites. These are all the sites that I have right now for the various classes that I teach. Again, one class, one website. That's usually the way I go. Google Sites just updated itself to a new Google Sites, which is cleaner, easier. The only problem with the difference is the old one had a template for classrooms, which had like class calendar, all that kind of information already there. But the new one is cleaner, so it doesn't have that. You have to kind of do that yourself. But I have templates that I can easily share with you. Like I translated my OralComm C class into a new Google site, right? Which then has kind of all this information. These pages I just had to make myself. They weren't there already. But again, it's a really easy way to do that. You can still link the Google Calendar to the class. You can still post important reminders to the class. You can link to other websites in a very kind of appealing, like this is an article about soda, this is an article about, actually this is a link to the old Google Sites website that I was using, but those kinds of things are all there. You can include these kinds of polls, the survey that I just asked you. This one happens to be on modal verbs, which modal verb means it's a good idea, which modal verb means it used to be able to. All of these kinds of things are here. Class photos. Oh yeah, I meant to show everyone how these class photos work. I just need to find one of my classes where I actually use it. Hey, Friday, there we go. These guys like to use the photos a lot. So you click on this, it goes to a Google photo album. Various students can join in and contribute their own pictures. Here are like things that I've done on the board. This is one of the students posting a picture of himself. We always go over what's appropriate and what's inappropriate, so, you know, that's a totally fine picture. This is my entire family, and when we were doing family day, you know, it was like, who's your brother, who's your mother? This is all projected onto the board, and then, you know, we labeled everybody in my family. That's me. And then it's good to have it, I mean, Google Photos is a really easy way, even if you're not going to use any website stuff that I told you today. You just using Google Photos is good enough for like taking pictures of the board and having the whole class be able to share those photos or having them take pictures of one another. Google Photos is really good for stuff like that. Videos can also be shared through that. So, and then this is like pictures of the book when they didn't, in the early units when they didn't have the book, pictures of them in class. But I mean, you know, this kind of thing creates a sense of community in the classroom, right? When students feel that they can joke around with you as the teacher, when they feel that they can joke around with each other, all of this is really useful, you know, as long as, again, I mean, I know you're all thinking of the nightmares that could possibly happen once you allow students to share photos together. But the good thing about Google Photos is when you create a shared album, you have control. You can erase whatever you want. You know, if you see something and then, you know, there's an opportunity to talk to your students about it, I guess. More questions, please. I'm sorry.
Yes. When they're on the website, I don't have control, like if they're doing the right thing, they're doing the wrong thing, especially in the integrated skills.
Mhm.
You know, like, is there a way that we can keep track? I know that I can create my own quiz and then see how they're doing, but when you send them to websites, how can you check if they're doing?
It would be impossible for, I mean, I know at Hunter we have a computer lab where you can see what all the computers are doing, but that's up to the school. Like they would have to, you can see what is on each screen and then you could take over the screen at any given time. The computer labs probably have that software in some of the computer labs here because it's a useful didactic tool for like the people who are doing computer programming, for the computer programming teacher to see what each computer programmer is doing. There are several updates that we need. I mean, I guess, again, as a department, as long as we're all kind of here, there are updates that we need. One, to the Wi-Fi. Two, to the kind of way that the sites are blocked or not blocked. Like I think we need to maybe discuss like which sites are better to block and which sites are worse. Like certain ones, sure, fine, great, no porn, nobody wants to like display porn to the class. But like Facebook is kind of in the middle there where there are some didactic uses for it, and maybe it's worth like arguing, hey, we should be able to create class-related Facebook sites. Or, I mean, again, you can use Google Plus. Nobody uses Google Plus, but because nobody uses Google Plus, it's not blocked by the school. So there's one way around it. Google Plus is something you could attempt to use. But how do you know what everyone's doing? One, you can use Google Analytics to kind of get data about what everyone's doing, but that will take a little bit more time and analysis. In the moment, I recommend you programming one website that you want the students to go to. You know what it looks like, so then when you're walking around the room, you can look at each screen and say, that's the website that I did send you to, and not...
I'm going beyond, like, to see if they're doing the exercise the right way, like if they don't have any grammatical errors.
Right. Well, then, I mean, that's where you would want to use these, the kinds of assessments that I gave you, like this, right? This can also come in the form of long sentences, and then you can review both the sentences for the whole class and the individual responses. You can ask for everyone's name and email, and then you'll get, like, this student said this and this student said that, and you can review that with the whole class. This is a PowerPoint presentation that my colleague gave at Hunter after using websites with me. And we had to co-teach over this last semester. And I think this is probably a really good way to sum up most of these things, but it has an answer to your question. So these were the pictures, the websites that we used at Hunter. They just look like these websites, whatever. You know, the idea that benefits, that websites are good for as a central place for information, expanding the learning environment, distributing information, reducing paper, teaching vital skills. Like, again, the more students used it, the more confident they became, and it's a good tool for assessment. Again, using things like a class calendar, using things like class information always comes up on the website, using links to other resources. This would be really good in integrated class, right? You have a page of links that you approve of, and then you give these, rather than writing all the things that you want on the whiteboard every week, like go to ESL Lab, go to dr.esleasy.com, you can have a pre-made list on your website, and you say, when you go to the website, go to these links, and these are the ones I want you to do. you can then see on analytics whether they're actually doing that. I mentioned the photos, how we use them for class trips is also another great way to use them. Again, here's another assessment on continuous and progressive. How do you do it? Things like that. These assessments get much more interesting, right? 3 sentences, right? And then the results are, one, you can see everybody's email and how they participated. You can see their score. You can give them the right answer. And then you get this. So you have everything the students wrote. And it's in the group assessment, you can see everything together. So you don't have to pick out any individual student, it's just all of their writing. Right? Oh, this sentence looks good. Oh, this one looks bad. All of it is available very quickly through the assessment. Same thing. And then, again, email practice, things like that. You get everyone's email. And then you get this kind of data also appears in the assessment thing as well. Okay, and these were the unexpected results. A greater sense of cohesion and community among the students, which you could kind of see in that integrated A site that we had with photo sharing. More consistent attendance through the program, which was just the case in our program at Hunter. We noticed that students within the website heavy classes were eager. They were more like involved and interested. Resulted in higher levels of participation in activities, and students who had no computer skills became much more independent and confident. So that's kind of, sorry, all right. One more question. Go ahead.
Is it basically the same as the Google Classroom?
Google Classroom is what I'm arguing we should have here, but that would cost the department and the school money. But Google Classroom would be all of the stuff that I've talked about under like the corporate label of Google for Education or Google Classroom. Yeah, but we can't do that unless the institution, but like I said, you can do all of this stuff for free on your own. That's easy to do. It would be better, of course, if we had institutional support and did it all together. But again, maybe we do some of this on our own for a little while, we show the department how well it works, and we get, and we convince them that this is the kind of direction we need to go in. Any other questions?
How would you recommend using it for a portfolio, for a writing class? Because I really would like to have like some kind of blog, but I'm having a hard time finding it. Like I want to see all of their work. Of course, I can create a file and have them all together, but I would like to have it as a website kind of look.
Well, I would recommend introducing your students directly to the new Google sites and letting them work together or on their own to make their own portfolios for each one, and then linking that to another site, which really isn't hard. Like I said, we should all try to use this for our classes, but we should also encourage our students to use these technologies to collaborate. Actually, I mean, again, I have so much stuff, it's terrible, but I have a video of everyone, when I do the review, I like to have everyone put all of the vocabulary words on a collaborative spreadsheet. And everyone puts all the words on the spreadsheet, and we work on it together live. We do that here at ASA. You can work on these Google Docs and Google Sheets all at the same time. Like, you can see them filling out the spreadsheet directly in class. And it's a great way to review for the midterm. Everyone really gets excited to enter things in together. Of course, it takes time and patience. Like, did you download Google Sheets? Did you put it on your phone? Do you have access to the Wi-Fi? But, that patience really pays off, because when they're done, you get a spreadsheet, a perfectly wonderful spreadsheet that then can turn into this is like such a silly game, but at cram.com we took the spreadsheet, you enter it into cram.com, and then these are our words from our midterm, right? And these are the answers. And the students can play this game either in class, where I kind of pretend like they're on a smart board and I click on the things for them, or they can do it at home. So again, there are lots of things you could do. I hope you will use this site so that you can start to do that. And again, if you need anything or would like to talk about it further, I'm always available. All right. That's it. Sorry.
Well, thank you very much, Chris, right? It was amazing, wasn't it? Yes, awesome, absolutely. And I got totally stunned, overwhelmed, as one of my instructors says, overwhelmed, yes, because so there are so many things that you can do. But thanks to Chris, if you really decide to start something like that, you don't have to do the whole thing that Chris is doing, because he's an expert. But if you want to start something like that, so you can go to his website, or you can talk to him, and he's always very kind to help us. This is one thing. And again, thank you so much for sharing. Second, and I think Chris has a very good point, whatever problems we have, studying with Wi-Fi, or whatever recommendations you have, or the website that are blocked or not blocked, send email to me. I'll put everything together so that I can go to our boards with a proposal. And also, again, what Chris mentioned, and if we start working on the same project or the same program, and we have at least some people who are doing that, we can show how effective it is, and then kind of, again, put a proposal to our superiors, and who knows, sometimes it doesn't, but sometimes it does work. Yeah, thank you very much again.
You're welcome.
Yes, fabulous job, thanks so much.